Caliste, will he have to flash away is the next question. Hilly then turns to Targamas, gets behind him, flash away with a step. Hilly step too far up, and Caliste styles him for first blood. Will be safe and sound, snug as a bug, as Lyncas goes down without a simple tug. 4 kills here for KC.
I'm fine. How will okay? Just don't die you. I feel for you, will Heal really if you can. Let me. Good job, really good.
Welcome back to the desk, and while there's so much to discuss about this series, and I'm thrilled to talk about it, I'm really confused as to who gave Jake, aka Hysterics, an axe and why he held it through the entirety of that cast. That was really weird, and I'm having trouble letting that go, but let's talk more importantly about the game. What stood out to you guys the most? I know the answer, but I'll give you the chance to say it first.
I mean, for me, it showed that Caliste can play Caliste. So I'm very happy about that.
You just said Caliste twice.
Yeah, you messed it up, dude. You bombed it.
Can play Caliste.
There you go.
Huh?
Caliste. Caliste.
Okay, Tisha's gonna have a role with that, but it's fine.
I'm glad we don't know that Caliste can play Caliste. Thank you for that one. And I mean, the replays say it better than I think we ever could. So let's take a look back at this. This was yet another game where Caliste, a permaban champion in many parts of the world, has ended up picked early in draft, essentially for free.
Yeah, I mean, the story of this game was quite different from the MCOI series for me, because it wasn't really Vitality bot lane getting 2v2 killed. It was more the failed gank, and then Hilly wants to go for this play here, and they don't quite have the damage. Part of that being because of that failed gank, giving Caliste the first blood. So now it's just full disaster when Corki also can't kill her, and then Lyncas tries to salvage the play, and now he's caught. And
what I would like also to point out is Caliste did get super ahead, you know, and in contrast to the Koi game that we just saw earlier, where she completely took over the game, I wouldn't really say that she became a little bit of a non-factor, but she became a big threat for Vitality to keep an eye out. And just the fact that he was fed for throughout the whole game and puts a target on his back, even though he didn't accelerate and snowball his lead, it bought a lot of time for the rest of the members on K-Corp to shine and scale into the mid game. Azir became a huge menace, and it's all of that thanks to the huge pressure that they managed to draw from bot lane, getting killed in 2v3 and just, you know, keeping their lead together for such a long time.
When we look at kind of Caliste on Caliste, or Calistes in general, as we go forward,
it reminds me a bit of the G2 game yesterday, that they have this like really early game focused, in this time it was bot side, and it just allows the Azir to scale up, and then once an Azir gets his items, he just takes over the game.
I think Azir is like, Vladi is the man of the hour, right?
Yeah.
I think we were ready to talk about Caliste, etc., and he had a good early game, but Vladi is the guy who I think this entire game was really just trying to make these plays happen and was pretty damn successful.
And I love Vladi. For me, he was a rookie coming in. Later on in the split, now he just became a lot of a bigger menace. And I think he's just scaling to do a lot of crazy things. Oh my God, Azir is doing crazy things. But I think he's one of the big successful rookies on K-Corp. He became a huge threat for them. And I feel like right now, every single game, even now, if you can pause the clip right here, what happened is that the Vi and the Bessa, they went in together. They used their ults. And right now, if we can play the clip a little bit, now, let's pause again. The disengage is successful. K-Corp went out. Vitality really feels like now they're in a...
Yeah, it looks like Vitality is winning.
In a state of security, because it feels like there's no more threat. And right now, as a team, when you play against this sort of high engaged team, you have only two things, or like one main engage to look at. And right now, Vladi just finds this insane play, and it's all thanks to just the coordination on K-Corp. They split up their engage in 2 steps, and it just baited Vitality to come back in, because realistically, in a high-stress situation, Vi just went in, Ambessa just went in, you used all your spells to disengage, and you're like, okay, now we're safe. But all of a sudden, the miracle Azir champion comes through and does another thing that Azir just does best.
And I think this is the thing that you really want to see in pro play from Azirs. Like, we know the Azirs who at 1 item or at level 6 are making crazy Azir plays, and we know the Azirs at 3 items who are trying to make a crazy Azir play in inting. Like, the discipline to know when you need to backline DPS and when you need to go in and make the big 4-man shuffle happen, like, that's something only great Azir players are going to do, and it's good to see that Vladi has that discipline, because so many players would have just immediately followed up when the team went in, and they all just would have died to that, you know, that
and I think for me, like, this is super exciting as a K-Corp fan, that you have this rookie ADC that looks insane, and you have kind of a rookie mid. He doesn't technically count as a rookie, but, you know, He's fresh enough that he's pretty much a rookie. And both of them are just showing up in their games, and they're playing so aggressive in the way they're doing it. And they're the ones that are demanding resources and pressure. It's so nice to watch.
It's a 2-for-1 special, because people were really ready for Caliste, right?
Yeah.
People have been singing, like, Caliste came, you know, bam, goes to preschool, people are like, this guy's the GOAT. This guy's been getting it his whole life. Vladi is the unknown, who I think has really surprised us. But, look, we've hyped up K-Corp a lot. There were some okay moments for Vitality in that game, to be certain.
Yeah.
But when we look ahead towards Game 2, what does this team need to change to find more success?
Yeah, I mean, Alvaro said it pretty well. Hilly is insane when he's ahead, but really bad when he's behind. And I think he really wants to just keep fighting no matter what. And I think in this game you could see it, that he just kept wanting to go in. So if I'm a Vitality fan, what I'd want to see is just like a more stable early game. I really liked Naak Nako in this game. He solo killed Canna on a matchup that is typically K'Sante losing, right?
It is not that easy, because technically you're playing on the more reactive side, but right now, well, the funny happened where he just take him on a little trip, you know?
Classic,
but he does a lot of crazy things. Now, right now he even buffers the ult. This was sick, because right now he's just CC chain. I feel like he played it beautifully. It's really hard, especially at this point when the Eclipse comes through from the best for you to do much in the game. I mean, Canna just laughing it off, because it's like, okay, my champion is still OP, I'm still going to be doing great. But it is signs of life, because Naak Nako, even when we look at him in ERL, he was doing a lot of crazy stuff on Vitality B, funny champion pool, which in Fearless always helps. So I would look at that as a shining light for Vitality, and at the same time I would like to kind of come back and double down on what you said. I think even though Hilly didn't really have a great game in the early game, it did keep them together with the fact that they still found the resilience to pull the trigger with the Wukong, with the Rel. Carzzy, obviously, huge power point for Vitality. Even though he fell behind early, I still feel like he was relevant for the whole game, even though they fell behind quite hard.
Yeah.
So for me, going into next game, I'm still hopeful for Vitality. I just feel like it's one of those games where you just kind of got outplayed.
Yeah, I think Hilly, just keep bringing that clutch factor, and if Vitality doesn't fall behind early game, I think they can have a much better showing.
All right, looking out for any specific picks you're looking at. Vitality now on blue side. Final words before we toss it over to the casters. Clear expectations. What do we want from Vitality? Just stability? Just chill out? Is it that simple?
I think try to draft a stronger early bot lane. I'm not a big fan of the Corki, to be honest. I'm kind of happy that it's gone. I think maybe something like the Varus, something that can bully early game.
How about for bullying early game? I think Draven.
Yeah.
It would win me bingo. So I
like
think
the
if they
bingo
pick
card.
Draven,
I would take Seraphine or Blitzcrank. Like, no bias, but if we could get a Seraphine or a Blitzcrank, I think it would really complement the draft.
Or a
you know
Twitch.
what I'm saying? Mac, you out there? Let's
Little rat on my screen, maybe?
You're so close. So, okay. All right, bingo predictions aside, we're ready now to head over to a break. When we return, the casters will take us into Game 2, and we'll see if Vitality can bite back or if it'll be a clean sweep for the blue wall.
Here at the LEC, we're one big happy family as we welcome you back to Game 2 between KC and Vitality. Shout out to Jackspectra. His brother was on the cast yesterday, you know, Jackspectra.
Yeah.
And now his dad, he's allowed to host the desk for 2 days in a row. It's really nice to see again. There's really good family bonding. I mean, Drakos doesn't look Norwegian, but I can kind of see the resemblance. Yeah.
I mean, so he's Slim Shady.
Yep.
He's Drakos. He's now Jackspectra's dad. Is there anything this man can't do?
That's Drake Spectra. Yeah. Like, what else to say? Odo, just part of the family, I guess. I don't know. Weird cousin.
The distant cousin. Yeah. Why did you make him weird? I went distant. You said weird.
I don't know. Odo is just such like a poop talker sometimes, and I just love, you know, how he comes across. He's weird. Odo, don't worry. Weird is good. I'm weird. So, bro, maybe I'm a bit weirder than you. But as we go into draft for Game 2, Odoamne has nothing to do with this. Why? Well, because top laners are not in discussion yet. It's 80 carries. Because 80 carries feel like their picks are always so important, especially with Mel taken off the board first by KC, which has been played bot by a lot of 80 carries these days, and I wouldn't be surprised if Carzzy is smashing it out in solo queue.
Yeah, I'm curious to see exactly what they want to try and go for here, because again, like you're still looking at probably Skarner going to be banned away, these kind of things will be taken off the board, but
less worrisome picks, I'll say, like less of that highly aggressive like Ambessa Vi combos, the Braum Caliste combo as well from KC. So I think for Vitality, this is a game where you can have a bit more time to kind of scale into a later portion of the game if you want to.
Yep.
But it's never exactly been a slow game whenever Vitality are in it, so
True.
I don't know if we're going to get that.
Well, Dagda, I will say, if we're looking at pace and lanes, I think for Carzzy, a real big pick to take away from the likes of Caliste as well might be something like this Varus too. Just a side note that Varus globally is usually in the first or second games at the very least of Fearless. Ezreal taken away, which is another big AD carry.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that banned away in the last game as well, but it's kind of okay. I'm not fully convinced on it being that high priority, especially as you say with like things like the Varus still up and available. Even if we want to go with the desk, like the Draven is still there. You can go for Kai'Sa. Like there's still a lot of options that are available. Not even to mention some of the deeper picks we've seen in other regions like Jinxes and Zeris and those kind of things. So
We're not exactly wrong. First pick, Viktor, I think, and everyone who I've talked to thinks that this pick is overhyped and a lot weaker than people think.
yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat because I would like.
Does Vladi play a Kali?
It's
It is not.
so the problem is if you go towards things like the Akali, they're much more difficult to execute compositions.
That is true.
And I think that's what Vitality are kind of looking for, because the other control mages we've seen in the meta are like the Ahri, but that's usually paired with a Vi or a Vieg or a Zinze or something that is basically trying to enable from the jungle to play that pick style. But at least the Viktor at this stage doesn't have too many terrible matchups. Like the Azir is the only one champion that can really outrange him, unless you want to go for something a little bit more funky for Vladi. And even here, it looks like KC opting in towards a composition that has a lot of range in it. You can go for the poke Varus. Zyra controls that space well, so I think this is where for KC, if you opt in towards things like the Jace, or well, Jace is gone, but some more of these kind of long-range poke champions are in a good spot.
And Dagda, I mean, how do you play as Viktor to step up into the fight versus Zyra versus Varus?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's already started the problem for Vitality. How do they build this composition together? You talked a bit about the Sedge. I talked a bit about the Sedge. We all love the Sedge. So that gets locked in as a partnership. But how else do they facilitate this comp?
Sorry, in my head I was going, we all Sedge scream for Ice Queen.
Ice Queen, God, nice.
But yeah, I think Trundle, not exactly the pick, but I think taking AD carry isn't the worst here, especially with the Varus on the opposite side. Unless they can go maybe Ashe is something that's in my head, but unless you're kind of looking to outrange the Varus, I think you're in a bit of a difficult spot.
Yeah.
Like Kai'Sa doesn't really want to lane into it, so you're then opting in towards tanks on the top side if you want to look for a lane swap for Vitality, which maybe they're just going to go for an Ornn or something and play this strong front to back, which honestly isn't the end of the world when you're looking at the champions that KC have so far.
Well, they're setting up with their own version as well, at least their engaged portion, so Nautilus gets locked in here. But Dagda, if we're talking about those AD carries, let's start rattling off some of the ones that could be paired up. Of course, the Zyra is one thing. Where else do you want to see Carzzy play here towards the Varus? Like, what options do you see for that bottom lane to actually complete this draft?
So it depends on what way you want to try and round things out. I think Carzzy could go for something like the Ashe. I think she is relatively strong. You've got the range, you've got that utility match in the bot lane. Jhin is also something that we've seen brought out a little bit. Carzzy has played before in the past, but it does mean you need, with both the Ashe and the Jhin, a bit more damage in the top side from Naak Nako, but which he can opt into. It's just when I'm looking at, okay, actually Misfortune I hadn't considered, but when it's if you're going to go for that damage on the top side, I think you're lacking real kind of beef to your front line, apart from Sejuani, that can just walk through a Zyra ultimate, walk through the Nautilus and that kind of stuff. So this is where I think it's a little bit more difficult. So good call on the Misfortune, because I do think that was something that could have just lent itself to following up on these tank engages like an Ornn. But now I'm curious what the rest of it's going to be. There's the Jhin.
Good call on the Jhin. As you said, the Ashe is still open, so I'll keep that in the back of my mind. Bit of a utility to add here for Vitality, as Tristana's also taken away. Now, remember, they're looking for a mid lane, and with Zyra as well, having sole AP in the jungle usually lends itself to AD solo laners. I
was going to say, Yasuo could be an option with the point-and-click Nautilus ultimate, so it's something we've seen a little bit before. But Lucian works pretty well here as well. Something that we definitely saw drop out of favor to a certain extent in the mid lane, but no, they're actually just going to go back towards the Galio. So double AP mid means that Merc Thread's very high value for anyone in that mid lane, but still, I think you're going to need supplemental damage still from Canna. So counter pick going to be nice for him, but probably looking at something like a Jax, I'd say, in this sort of scenario for Canna.
Supplementary damage. I like that, especially when Canna's got a wide champion pool. As Sivir comes in with Rakan. Not often a pairing, but still, nevertheless, they're opting in for a bit more scaling here, Dagda. But my biggest question is, how are you going to get through the lanes here? We got Viktor, we got Sivir. Long time needed here for Vitality to build their draft.
You do have good wave clear, though, both with the Viktor and the Sivir, which does help out, though. So, and I think that's kind of what you needed here in that bottom side. And they're actually going to take that Jax away, so making sure that KC can't get their hands on it. So Canna could opt in towards something like the Gragas if he wants to. Go towards that stall, but looks like it might be the Gnar. But yeah, I think the problem is if you go Gragas, your top side's very AP heavy.
Really is, yeah.
And then you're still, like, if you opt into more of that, still going to be a struggle with finding that damage. Sorry, I got distracted by the Warwick there, but Gnar could work. Yeah, I think this is the only AD threat in topside that you really have that you can go towards. Yeah, it's not the best of matchups as Jax can close that distance fairly easily, and eventually we get to a point where he just outscales, like Leap Strike having a much lower cooldown than your Leap Away as Gnar. But yeah, I mean, KC, strong team fights if they can get them going. Whereas Vitality, good side lane threat and pretty strong zone control, which I think is something that KC are going to have to be very careful of if they all dive in onto this.
Well, they want to dive in for sure. There's going to be a lot of setup. Galio, Gnar, Zyra paired with that as well. Last game, the early game, was a treat to watch through the bot 2v2, Dagda. This time around, Carzzy and Hilly won't have that same firepower, but Caliste and Targamas definitely will.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of my attention is going to be. This, I assume, is going to be an on-hit Varus, very little backline threat. You need that consistent damage. So if Caliste can get ahead, that could be game-changing.
Oh, Dagda, that's why I think we might ask the question, is it going to be a lane swap initiated by Vitality? With Sivir lanes, a lot of the time it is. Jackson a 1v2 or 1v3, depending on the dive, isn't the end of the world as well. So I'm going to throw that question out there for you.
Yeah, I mean, Gnar definitely going to struggle in a lane swap, but also an opportunity if you want to just... Instead of going for the traditional, hey, I'm going to sit underneath the tower, drop lane, have him go for the 4-man dive on towards the Jax as well, and then set him behind in that way, just match the TP eventually. So we'll have to see what the game plan is. But Vitality, one game down, need to find that miracle play in hopes they don't drop down to that lower bracket.
Let's see. One game to go for KC to round this out, or will we get our first game 3 here in the LEC playoffs? Winter has only just begun when you think about it, and especially when Berlin tomorrow is to minus 12 degrees. Oh my God. It really is. I mean, Jack, get the family together. We're back in Norway.
I mean, I thought he already had the family.
Well, yeah, you're going to have to huddle together. You know what I mean? Like, let's bring more members of the family tomorrow. I don't know. Odo's sitting up with a wig tomorrow as well, I bet you.
I like how Valentine's Day happened on Friday and you've just done an ode to Jack for the weekend.
He's very special to me.
He's only been here a few weeks, but he's already... He's part of the family.
He's an AD carry, you know, weak role and all that. So we got to take care of him. I swear, like, AD carries the one role. Last year, AD carry was weak. We played a mid. There's still a way for AD carries to complain. Now, this time they're weak. It's like, bro, but we still have AD carries as like first pick, and they're still strong.
I do love how Jack is like, no, AD carry is really strong. But do you know what is even stronger? Shogun with Halo Blades and Shreddy's Reverie.
There's always something bigger.
You always have something to complain about, and that's the beauty of it.
Maybe that's how you get high elo as an AD carry. You just complain and... You know, your skill gets better. All the AD carry mains must be crying right now. Yeah, too busy being a top laner, you know. Well, Vitality did opt for the lane swap, Dagda, and they're going to be in the mismatch here. So good here for the Sivir to get through the early lanes and Carzzy to just get ahead of the scaling game.
Yeah, see, I wasn't sure if basically Canna would try and drop this top side, meet up in mid, half push with mid, and then start to move down to go for the 4-man dive, because you can see he's just not really able to sustain himself in this sort of position. Did opt in towards the leap early in the hopes that maybe he can survive that a little bit longer underneath the tower, but this is just not a fun time for Gnar, and you're never going to be able to hit your Mega Gnar before they go for the dive, so you need to be very, very careful.
Good dredge line here. Caliste waiting for the counter-strike, and Autos indeed gets a Q out, but it's all about experience, remember. So Canna and Naak Nako just trying to get 2 before the dives, potential dives come through. As there's some good warding to spot out if Lyncas will go for it or at least defend. He's clearing up towards top, and you can see Yike is clearing down towards bottom. So slow pushes for the dives here are building up.
Vitality did end up crashing the second wave, though, which at least gave Canna level 2, which is pretty huge.
It did, true.
So Naak Nako also with no jungler means that he's hit level 2, so this does make it very difficult to actually dive on both sides of the equation, especially if Canna, off of these next few minions, can start to get his Gnar bar up. So I don't think we'll actually see dives. Like Canna level 3 now, Naak Nako going to hit the same very soon. So it looks like more of a plate advantage is the game for Caliste on that bottom side.
Plate advantage, more denial. As you said, Canna, I mean, at least at 8 CS here. And as you said, he's able to get his early levels, so his health bar right now feeling good. Naak Nako not opting in for a back. Instead, opting in to stay as the potential dive is now revisiting.
Canna is so close, though. If you can get a couple of autos on the minions, maybe you can try and hit that Mega Gnar, but it's too far away.
You're right. We'll wait and see. Waiting for the flash. Mega Gnar bar is building up. He's getting some autos down. He flashes. He hops, but under turret. Hilly is going to draw. Canna outplays it, and he's about to go Mega. There is nothing Vitality can do here. Even if he's zoned off, he might be able to jump back in as Naak Nako, meanwhile, backs away, but a dredge line reaches from outer space. A good dodge away from the piercing arrow, but KC have zoned while Canna still thinks about going back in.
Canna's just trying to use that boomerang to get the Mega Gnar. Has the hop now available. We'll get back to the tower. He's getting the CS. He's getting the experience. Whereas, look at bot side. Naak Nako's been completely taken away. Targamas going to try and keep him at bay. Yike in the background.
Hilly's going to try and help out. Targamas, though, gets him for a root, and all it will take is a dredge line, and Naak Nako's already jumped away. He leapt, he's rooted, he flashes, he's ignited, and he's about to be dead. KC on both sides of the map are obviously more experienced in the lane swap.
But it's not only the fact you're getting the survive from Canna, the kill for Canna, the kill on boss, the plates as well for KC are huge. That's 2.5 already taken, a third soon to go down as well, whereas only a singular one was taken by Vitality on that top side. KC are outperforming massively in the lane spot.
And you can say what you want, maybe it's to do with the 2v2, right? Having Nautilus, having Varus for range, but at the end of the day, as you said, that early crash, it means so much for the game state. And for KC, now ahead almost 1,000 gold due to it, as Canna and Naak Nako now going to fully lane against each other. But Canna was able to go back, get a cull, get boots versus a simple longsword from Naak Nako. There's a CS difference, there's an EXP difference between top laners now.
And your value in this is, hey, this Gnar is really vulnerable when he is mini Gnar and level 1.
Yeah.
Naak Nako can get away with a bit more because he has to counter strike, you have to try and play it a bit smoother underneath the tower. The fact you waited until Canna was level 3, so he has access to all of his abilities, and then hits the Mega Gnar, just makes it a complete disaster. Vitality just missed their window, and now with the lane swap coming as well, you've already got the advantage in the 1v1 for Canna, and Boy Grubs soon to play for as Caliste is going to slow push this wave out and set up for a nice take from those alongside Vladi about to hit 6.
And remember as well, in this 2v2, the Varus range versus Sivir, we're going to start seeing why this 2v2 was feared originally as well. Both junglers towards the top side of the map for now, but Lyncas has bot to start clearing, whereas you can see that Yike is level 5 and he's moving up quick.
Yeah, and the advantage that Vitality can try and play with is the TP on Naak Nako. Maybe you could look for a teleport up towards the Void Grubs if you wanted to force it, but the problem is he's already a level down entirely on Canna, plus some change. So if he actually goes for more on that top side, you get more turret plates gone, you're going to lose more CS, so your hands are tied here as Vitality. You need to stick to your lanes. So KC are going to be able to get this objective, and I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if Canna, now that he hit 6, pokes his head in here just to push Sejuani off of that dragon. There he goes now.
He's going to poke his little head in. A lot of people at home saying, wait, is he changing lanes? But no, Canna's just moving towards dragon. Thanks, Vedius, as he's level 6, and all it takes Mega Gnar. Flash over the wall, ambitious from Vladi. It's a match flash from Lyncas, but for the Dragon Smite, will it be worth it? Hero's entrance denied on the ground. Canna still gets it done, but no Mega Gnar in the end. A shutdown because he got 2 kills early is more gold back to Naak Nako.
I was going to say, you still get the dragon as well, so the fact that Canna didn't have his Mega Gnar available was crucial there. They tried to play it a bit too quick. Lyncas does fall. It's a 1-for-1 as you highlighted the shutdown gold plus dragon. You kind of take that if you're Vitality, to be honest.
Replay time.
Yeah, like Canna nowhere near turning Mega here. Naak Nako doesn't have 6, and they're trying to use the level advantage, but it means nothing if you don't really have access to the ultimate. Czajek does a good job of roaming across here as well, so Lyncas does end up falling down, but the interrupt there on towards Vladi was actually huge, because if Naak Nako ended up getting knocked up, you buy time for Targamas to come through, Canna can get his away, and maybe even get a follow-up kill onto Naak Nako, but nothing left in the tank means that it's just Canna falling.
And it is kill over to Naak Nako, which is nice. We're kind of highlighting, but I mean, that CS difference, that experience difference is still kind of there. Naak Nako not able to get in range here. Canna's about to go Mega Gnar, and Grasp after Grasp just keeps flying through with the range top laner. So still a bit of a lead there for the Gnar. You look at jungle, same can be said there as well. Right now, the early game, once again, for KC, still 1,500 up, despite that Dragon and kill.
Yeah, but Vitality do have a window to play around now that Vladi has used that ultimate. You can see it's halfway off cooldown, but Lyncas is about to hit level 6, so I think this is where he would like to try and move up towards this top side. I think no scuttle available. Oh, there he goes. He actually took the scuttle. Now that's 6, and this is the play.
Shield, and Hylissang gets pulled in. As you said, it's going to be a reverse by Vitality, but after using Riptide and Dredgeline, Hylissang can't get in range, and Lyncas just has to walk away from it.
Yeah, so you can see the play, or at least the idea of the play was there, where it's hit 6 off the Scuttle Crab, go for the play on top side, especially as Caliste and Targamas were starting to push the wave out, but now Carzzy haven't pushed that wave in. KC managed to escape, so I think this is just kind of dead in the water on top side, and now that was kind of your one moment before Vladi's ultimate is back up, so now you got to play in safety again.
You know what else is dead in the water, Dagda? A goldfish that's not breathing. As early game, you know, it's been really about floating here for Vitality. What's dead in the water? Goldfish is not breathing. A quick yoke, you know, from yours truly. Good dodge from Hylissang from the dredge line. Grubs are up in a minute 30. Take it more seriously, Dagda.
Try my best here, bud.
Vitality after game 1. I'm surprised you're still here. 9 minutes in, I mean, yeah, those second grubs, those are the contests. But Yike has ulti here, and with ulti flash from Canna, I don't think Naak Nako has a chance. Locked up, the only reason he's breathing as he flashes away was because of counter strike. But that's a different game, a different name. Yike is once again playing his fame.
And the hay fever is brutal in winter here in Berlin.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're going to get the ice on the opposite side, so Targamas, goodbye, my friend. There's very little you can do here.
Lonely, lonely Big Daddy is Targamas. He's halfway to level 6, won't have the depth charge to buy, but maybe too tanky to dive up as well. Dagda's going, hang on a minute, there's a Galio coming in. Vitality knows, dredge line still hooks, but into a minion.
That was why Vitality backed off. You can see Vladi had immediately dipped from the mid lane, and this is why we were talking about that timing window that they had to try and play around.
6.
And now Vladi is just going to be able to keep the side lane safe. Canna just got the bot lane turret, so he's fine. And the counter punch isn't there because of the Justice Punch from Vladi.
And again, as that turret goes down, which by the way is huge, I mean, Targamas is going to try and interrupt. Hylissang goes into ulti, but Chains of Corruption, the flash. Vitality's bottom lane, the second time they tried to recall. And Dagda, I just feel like that maybe that's greedy.
It was a good sidestep from Targamas. So Hilly came out of the bush, hoping to catch him with the quickness, and then immediately dashed back onto Carzzy. But because he missed it...
Chaos Storm's out though, and we talk about misses, but we talk about deliveries. As Czajek with the Chaos Storm, he didn't need to flash, but at least he secures the kill.
Yeah, big play from Czajek. It was much needed to get something back on the map. But still, KC, you can hear the crowd. They're pretty happy with the way this top side is going for them right now. Daddy going to move over towards the objective. 10 seconds now. Oh my god, wait, Yike stole that over the wall.
Did he? How? Dagda, 4 grubs for KC, 2 for Vitality, and then rather only 1. Targamas sets up with a dredge line, and yet again, depth charge.
Oh my god!
The wild growth! You're not escaping, Hilly, you're going nowhere. Counter-strike to bring it back, but Canna to bring it in. KC's combo is a sight to behold.
Big circle comp smacking people in the mouth on Vitality, and there's nothing that they can do about it.
I like shapes.
I mean, Haley tried to dash over the wall. It was like, peace, I want nothing to do with this, and ends up face planting. But yeah, Yike ends up using that. I think there's just a plant at the edge, so he just ends up using his body to just hug the wall there, hold that across. That's 4 grubs now for KC. Vitality desperately trying to get another one, but even with the Galio gone, look at where Canna is. He's in a great position on the map. Sivir is not here. And here, 1 knock up, 2 knock up. Hilly doesn't get over the wall. I'm not actually sure what rooted him up there. And then, yeah, just decision making essentially. And yeah, I mean, look at Targamas there. He's very happy with the way that one went.
I mean, he should be. I feel like KC's 2v2, whether it's Bean versus Naak Nako, whether it's Bean versus Carzzy, Hylissang, in both games now, has just been better. And granted, they are playing the more dominant lanes, but they're playing it well. Targamas on engage, Caliste, give him something to carry with, and he will. But let's also be real. I mean, Yike has had a field day this game, and this is why a lot of teams are banning away the Zyra. This is just such a strong champion. It scales incredibly well. It has great objective control. it's level 6 is unbelievably stupid because the burst with all the plans getting attack speed as well is just unbelievable at one item. Like when is Zyra weak? First 3 levels? Then when? 4? Level 4 maybe?
No, she's pretty alright.
She's kinda, yeah. Flash away. Chain of Corruption already burned down, and there's an opportunity for Vitality that's gotten Caliste. Targamas as well, running with his life as Wild Growth once again is out. Yike has set up the Strangle Thorns, and Hilly is just taking autos from a plant. Imagine dying to a bush as Hilly again rooted up. Apology hurts.
Hilly, you can go back sometimes. You don't need to run forward. Ends up going down. Tries to maybe get the kill onto Targamas, but at the end of the day, just ends up giving his life across now. That's a 4th for Yike. But it's still a nice kill to shut down Caliste, get some time, but I mean, this is your main problem. The fact that this matchup is not going in your favor at all, thanks to the early kill, thanks to the early lane swaps, Canna is very far ahead of Naak Nako, and there's very little that this Jax can do to answer.
It's your main problem, but it's not your only problem. Like, there are many other problems. That's also a problem in itself. Hilly's going to try and gank this. E was just used for Canna, but again, still out of range, and Kanna's got Trinity Force as well. Hilly's just going to be walked into here, while the rest of KC are looking for a dive. For Vitality, you can't play both sides of the map here, Dagda.
Yeah, the ult's just to clear the way from Czajek to try and keep himself safe. Targamas now trying to see if he can pull the wave across, allow the next one to conga line its way through, but it is a little dangerous. Carzzy's missing off the map, now starting to move back mid, so yeah, Czajek will get the reset. Had cost him his ult, but didn't cost his life.
So the wave will just crash on in. Yike will do a lot of AP conversion to this turret, and remember again, 5 grubs in the end for KC. So this turret is as well as gone. This gold lead is as well as past 4K. And I hate to say it, but for Vitality, they've once again, 2 games in a row, have been outclassed in the early game.
Which is like surprising, because the first time these two teams faced off, it was Vitality that very much controlled it.
Way around.
And I think it's Vitality have at times shown that they can have very strong early games, but unfortunately, they're just not getting off the ground quick enough. Failed turret plays, or turret dives, and now Hilly trying to stop a reset, but doesn't quite manage it. And it's given them now a great spot for KC. You have side laners that are fantastic in the Galio and this Gnar. The threat to always push in on mid wave as well. And if you ever try and overextend, as Vitality are about to now, Vladi might have to come in.
On the hunt being used, there's the ulti as well from Caliste. Flashes away to get out of range. Permafrost sets him up as well, but it's a re-engage from Vladi, setting with the shielded around a zone. Dredge line at max range, roots in as the bottom lane of Vitality, just trying to kite back, but Canna won't let them as the roots from downtown hits. It's thanks to Yike. This teleport's drawn in from Czajek. He wants a part of this fight, but the fight's already done. Canna ready to leap in yet again with his whirlwind of Gnar, but he doesn't need to.
Vitality come out of the woodwork, all 5 members hoping to catch Caliste on that mid-wave, but KC, they come in stomping, forcing Lyncas back, picking him off, and that was a Hail Mary play from Vitality, to be honest. They were hoping that Vladi hadn't come out of base far enough, but you can see just barely able to get into range to catch them off. And again, KC, they just opt back into side lanes. They still have the TP on towards Vladi. They're still in a position to put pressure towards Rift Herald.
But around Rift Herald, how are you going to fight a 2-item Zyra when you're a 1-item Sejuani? There is about a 60 CS lead in jungle right now. Yike is 2,500 ahead. This Zyra is once again out-farming anyone who's in the game. And you're not really surprised, are you? The only person who's keeping up is Czajek, and at 173 CS, that's great. But will it win you games here when KC are just getting every single objective under the sun?
Yeah, you can see Vitality are just trying to defend the jungle camps rather than actually defend the Rift Herald. They know they just don't have a chance. Yes, their cooldowns for the ultimates come up a little bit quicker, but KC have already taken it before they can get to that position. And it looks like Hilly has abandoned the mid play. Going to see if he can maybe find a play with Naak Nako on towards Canna, but with Flash there and also just about to turn Mega, I think he'll be fine.
Targamas trying to get away the Celestial Blessing at the very least. Dragon spawning in 45 seconds, by the way, so KC naturally move their path down towards the bottom side of this map. Canna is looking for some blood. Still that level lead persists, by the way. That started the game off. At least half a level right now between Naak Nako and Canna, as catch-up was constantly played. Now Yike, as he moves into position, just remember, one snare and someone from Vitality is dead. It doesn't matter if it's a tank. It does not matter if it's a squishy. I think someone will die.
I do think, though, at least at the moment, Vitality have a bit of a reset advantage here. You can see an item and a half versus kind of the one items across the board. So Vitality at the moment are stronger. Kind of doesn't have the play. So instead of KC going for the Dragon, they're just trying to force the play on mid.
They are indeed. I mean, they've flashed with the ulti as well. But after the Glacial Prison, Caliste now comes out. And it's a living nightmare for Vitality running through. It's good, though. Naak Nako found an angle. KC have lost their bot lane. And an opening presents itself. I said one snare, but there wasn't enough to ensnare Vitality from all those angles.
Brilliant timing window from Vitality. They went for the earlier resets on both Czajek and towards Naak Nako. They complete that half item, but also no Canna doesn't have a TP to match. So Naak Nako is able to teleport into the play. And suddenly Vitality are coming alive in this one. Like you can see, so Czajek has already started to drift up towards this middle point of the map. The ultimate's great. And Naak Nako just has this great TP ward to come in for the flank, finishes off Caliste, and Czajek is able to follow up. And although you had basically a 4k gold lead for KC, it was all sitting in their back pockets. They hadn't gone home to spend it.
Yeah, you're right.
And Vitality show up and show them what it's worth.
I mean, that play swings quite a lot here. Dragon was not taken in the meantime, but the scaling elements, Dagda, have got the kills. Naak Nako might be in a bit of trouble here. The ulti sends him back. He leaps back on in. Grandmaster at arms as Naak Nako's in danger of solo kill, though. When you talk about that gold being used well, even though Canna doesn't get a throw of rock, he shows he would have been stronger and would have had the solo kill. Backing away is Naak Nako while the rest of KC, or rather Vitality, show up.
The thing is that Dragon is still up, so Vitality want to try and trade Canna for the Dragon.
Lyncas waiting for the hop, but not going to throw out the ulti, rather it's not there.
Look at mid though, that tower's about to fall. Carzzy needs to be very careful. Targamas ends up tanking up, so we'll back away, but pings now on towards the Dragon. KC want to make sure they can continue the stacking in their favor.
So let's come back to it. Vitality are scaling. And a Viktor with 2 items getting there. A Sivir now just picking up 2 items. Carzzy is getting there. Navori quick plays picked up, so his W is off cooldown on reset. So a lot more wave clear added into the kit. And there's not much difference between AD carries, Dagda.
No, it's the AD carries are kind of even, but the big one that my attention's drawn to is Czajek. Like, he has been getting a lot more farm because Vladi has been pulled in to try and help out on these ultimates quite a lot. And as long as you're able to play towards Czajek, which is what Vitality are trying to do, you're causing that disparity on the gold. You're not having Yike there, who's your main kind of focus, and also Canna there. So if Vitality can keep playing away, Carzzy continue to clear mid, he's going to be fine, and he can start to use this Viktor as a potential comeback tool for Vitality.
Okay, so on the mind is Vitality's resurgence in this game. All off the back of that one play. I mean, I think that was brilliant angles, Dagda. Like, all KC wanted was Vitality to be in front of them in one happy circle, so there could be an unhappy circle thrown in. But when it's not like that, when Vitality could skirt around the fight, it just makes things so much more difficult. And as we said, those front lines getting more and more items. I mean, this Sejuani is behind, but Lyncas, second item on the way. He's got a Spectre's Cowl now as well, so he's got a bit of AP resist to withstand the burst that comes from KC.
This is where it gets dangerous, though, because Rakan is on the map. Canna with TP is going to start to threaten here, which means you need Naak Nako to start to shift up towards this top side to actually be able to answer. But because of Rakan, you're being drawn as Vitality continuously to this bottom side. Czajek kind of needs to be the one to answer, but they haven't sent him top side. You can see the pings going down now, but again, they're holding Czajek in the bottom lane when he's the one without the TP.
Vitality being mega patient, though, around this Rakan, just trying to find a pick. As you said, that Gnar now has push in a turret under threat, so KC are playing the map better again here as Hilly looks in deep.
Vitality are just trying to start it. They're trying to draw KC and get that TP from Canna. Canna has just turned Mega Gnar, so this is a moment where Vitality could fight and be up against the Mini Gnar, but they're going to trade Terra for Terra. It's a tier 1 for a tier 2. KC are happy, and Canna is getting the opportunity to get more of that Gnar bar back up.
Naak Nako's walking into him, or at least walking the long way around top lane. Backs are going to be channeled here in the end by Vitality. No wards that they're sitting on, so information's not gathered around, but you can see already that Caliste is just pushing mid. So maybe there was enough here to indicate that Caliste had free reign.
Well, you're going to be happy with that trade as KC. The tier 2, way more valuable, and also getting that push now mid, so it will be just a rinse and repeat. Canna goes for the reset. This time around, though, Naak Nako has access to that teleport, so he can match a little bit better against the Gnar. But again, it's kind of Vitality just misassigning those lanes, not putting Czajek top to clear the waves, match with the teleport, and KC kind of abusing that fact.
I think it's been their strength this game. It's like running Vitality thin throughout the map. What's the decision? If you do something, it's going to cost you something else. in very simple terms in both Game 1 and Game 2. The trades have always really been better. As On the Hunt is going to show us where it stops right there. Caliste still gets slowed here by the permafrost, but he sends out the Chains of Corruption and starts fighting back. Caliste now with Lethal Templars. Vitality fought without all members there yet. The teleports took too long.
Carzzy!
You can see into the back. Carzzy's just run on in. He takes a while to die, but eventually does. As for KC, this fight is still going bad. Vitality frontline are still taking a while to die. And Canna now next on the Targamas again. Naak Nako brings it in as Czajek's lead is showing us what scaling's doing for Vitality.
Carzzy's movement in that fight was insane. He ends up flashing in and dies for it, but he was a difference maker at the start of that. Watch how much he dodges as this fight kicks off. So, the immediate engage onto Caliste. It's actually fine because Vladi ends up blocking, doesn't end up getting hit by it. But watch Carzzy here. So they get the pressure, he hits Caliste with the boomerang, steps forward. Now, as Canna flashes forward, he steps forward, sidesteps the wallop, and then moves in, gets the kill onto Caliste thanks to boomerang, and puts Vladi out. And that's what actually sets up here for Vitality to follow through, because now you've got Czajek, who's still a damage dealer, Naak Nako, who's still a damage dealer, whereas KC, all of their main DPS tools have been removed from the fight.
He's crazy, isn't he? Vitality thinking, hang on a minute, we've got something we're working with here. And as we said before, we thought that the last fight, it's now just happened again. Artican's still up, Dragon's coming up as well. This game is not a done deal for KC, and to remind you all again, Czajek is now 2,000 gold up, almost third item with these Leandries. We're getting a third item for Carzzy soon as well. There's a lot to shout about here as Vitality have their ults back up and available shortly, with Czajek and Naak Nako lining up too.
Yeah, Artican has started to try and get that TP. Naak Nako disappears. There's the wave and bot that he could TP to and flank entirely onto this.
Getting low, it's a Justice Punch, so Vitality forced out as a flash. Targamas looks for the engage, but Czajek is just burning down the engage all of KC. A Mega Gnar ult would be great, but the Stranglethorns does nothing. Look at Czajek again. A Chaos Storm to get bigger and bigger, and yes, Artican went to Karmine Corp, but nothing else has gone their way in this fight.
That fight could have been 10 times worse if Canna didn't get that ultimate off. He ends up catching Hylissang as he goes to the quickness on towards Caliste in the back line and just barely hoses off. Keep your eyes on Hylissang as this fight kicks off. So Caliste is in a great position at the back of this fight, basically playing in this zone. But as you get the pull through to go through on towards Hylissang, Canna immediately with the ultimate catches Hilly just here as he was about to go on towards Caliste. And it means that Caliste is fine to start continuing that DPS. But if he hadn't got it, that would have been Caliste going down and probably everyone else in that fight as well.
Minute details, KC still fighting. Artican now left on only one, and I believe Dagda, it might have been that top lane to walk away with it. Everyone else, it's gone. So, Artican now off the map. The next question is Dragon, Baron, that are both sitting there as well. Vitality have had a lot of success fighting around the mid lane, thinking about part 2, part 3 on who can they catch. As Baron is obviously the new hot topic here, it is Yike, to correct myself, that has Artican at the very least.
Still, Vitality, like these team fights have been so insane from them.
Yeah.
A game that basically looked done for. Vitality have been fighting their way back into it, and again, it is these, we talked about, the individual performers stepping up massively. Carzzy with a great fight, Haley with some fantastic engages, and Lyncas, Czajek and Naak Nako following up behind. As long as you can try and continue this, you're going to be in a good spot, but there's the reset.
Carzzy's going to get depth charge though, and there's going to be a follow-up, and KC know it. Chains of Corruption fly through, but Carzzy has got his support in the way, or rather, jungler. Lyncas will die for him. Carzzy was caught, and it was a really good angle from KC that give them a numbers advantage for Baron.
Yeah, Hilly had just reset. I don't know if he reset on vision or how KC knew, but Targamas with a fantastic flank, and now the Baron has started. Czajek is here, but no jungler. Can Vitality win this 4v5?
Level 16 as Dredge line has missed. Level 16 on the Viktor is my point. Carzzy wants to just auto away. The quickness in, a hero's entrance, a fly in. It's defensive, but it's not good enough. The Chaos Storm is now massive as they might not find the steal, but they'll find the fight. In the end, it goes over to KC, but Czajek, who went in melee, still wants to fight with Caliste, but Carzzy will take that any day. Canna jumps in. Top lane v top lane is all we've got left, and Canna will get spun on while Naak Nako closes the deal.
Revenge is a dish best served cold in the river for Naak Nako as he whacks down Canna for what was a tough early game from his half. But Vitality, the team fights are insane. Like, see where Hylissang is. He's only just reset. So KC immediately go for the engage. Lyncas gives his life to protect Carzzy. And this was the best decision he could have made. Because while he goes down, look at how the rest of this fight starts to play out. Czajek starts to move down from this top side. And Hilly goes in immediately, but I think this ultimate was a bit preemptive from Vladi. He ends up trying to buy space for Caliste. I think the call is to try and finish off the Baron, but Yike has moved out of the pit. They can't follow. Canna actually isn't really threatening on towards Carzzy, and the Baron is doing so much work in that fight.
And now we come back to live, and although a lot was burned as teleport comes on in, we're gonna fight over the Dragon at 3k, 2k. Vitality think about their angle. Vladi can't zone with shielded around, but the Dragon's already gone. But Vitality have this right side to play with. They've got the inside track for mid as well, and all they need is an ult to land. KC zoned away, Mega Blast Cone to get them away. Vitality now trying to get this inner turret at the back end of the play.
But Vitality can go for either mid, or they can go for this bottom side as well. So KC, they're being pulled thin across the map.
Right.
Canna,
he jumped on a Mega Gnar. Naak Nako just jumped on a Mega Gnar. He jumped on a Mega Gnar, but he goes golden. He had a plan. Chains Corruption also thrown out in the choke. They found Targamas, the Chaos Storm as well. Will get bigger. It encircles, it stuns, it electrocutes everything in its path. Caliste, Vladi both hurt. It's a good zoning tool, but Vitality stop there. They know they're overcooked if they keep for the push.
Seeker's arm guard getting a ton of value there.
Good one,
Baits KC in, and the position that Vitality have because they pushed in mid just gives them quicker access to that skirmish on the bottom side. Now kills, towers, and potentially a game 3 on the cards for Vitality if they can keep this up.
We haven't had one yet. We're crossing our fingers, but again, it really does feel like this jungle, this top lane lead, makes a big difference. I mean, there's so many individual parts moving for KC, but the scaling is undeniable at this point. Infinity Edge on Carzzy, Czajek as well. He's now got his start of the Zhonyas. He got the Leandris a while ago, and their front line is getting beefier. It's like adding another patty to the burger, you know? You got to stomach and get through a bit more. But if you can move everything else out of the way, then you can move to the dessert. And Carzzy and Czajek right now would be a good dessert for KC to consume.
Yeah, I think though Carzzy has been the cherry on top this game. He's been fantastic in a lot of these team fights, like kind of setting up a lot of the plays for then Czajek to follow through on, and that's where a lot of the Viktor value is, because if you can finish off some of these low health members, that ultimate starts to expand and kind of takes over. Now Targamas looking for Naak Nako.
Taking an explosive blast cone. Naak Nako might try and sidestep here, and he does indeed. Good counter-strike. Targamas hits a wall in the end, while Vitality, their whole plan was going towards his top side. There's 4 members here without contest.
Yeah, KC, we're trying to go for the split map. Essentially have Canna push in on this bottom side and then look to maybe just clear out, but denied in that moment. So Vitality would get this tower for free as KC scramble back to defend.
It's been a fun game, I gotta say.
It's been sick.
It's been a sick game, and I love games like this where there's individual mechanics on play, like Yike moving in here might not be one, he flashes away, but the Strangle Thorns, it's a big knockup, it's a bounce out, it's a shielded Duran. Vitality are sent to half, but they've used the summon as Carzzy was holding on, and he's burnt everything to survive and not throw the game.
KC needs to just chase these people out. As long as you can get that push in mid, you can look for the mid tower off the back of this. Targamas is alone. Sees Hilly and Carzzy. Czajek still on top side. KC continuing to chase forward. Naak Nako coming for the reinforcements, but KC, they can now group on mid wave and start to push on through. That was very close to being a change.
If Canna was there for a Mega Gnar, I mean, that could have just been lights out.
Vladi was so close to getting that huge taunt in the middle of everyone as well. There was so much that could have gone wrong there, but Vitality take a step back, and it would have been heartbreaking, because to be honest, Vitality have played a stormer of a game here, playing off of tiny windows as a unit. A lot of the mistakes that Vitality had made throughout the season have been looking fantastic in this game.
Yeah.
But that could have been their moment where they take that step too far. So it's a slap on the wrist, a reminder that they need to be cleaner, but not game-changing right now.
You can see damage. Carzzy is feeling it. And you'd be surprised. I mean, Czajek all game long has been ahead in CS and has just had the items, but as we've said, Carzzy through these fights gets to free fire a little bit, and for Vitality, that's exactly how they want. If Carzzy dies, it feels like the game and the series will die with Vitality as well, as Naak Nako has an angle onto Vladi, shielded around, slow pushing and slow burning, flash away from the counter-strike. Targamas the next angle, Vitality are pulling apart the pieces. Separated are KC. Canna, no Mega Gnar bar to watch and track in this next fight.
But that's ultimate's gone. You need Canna to get that Gnar bar, as you said, but now you can actually start to look for the turnaround. Targamas, the point and click is there. Canna just slowly getting that bar worked up.
As you said, good point. Carzzy no ult, Lyncas no ult, wait for the timers there. The wave clear is still there from Vitality as KC try and hit from the right-hand side. It's all about this dragon that will be their soul. That's what they're playing for now, as Vitality might have the inside track, but they're going to be precariously slow and smart-witted moving into this jungle.
TP coming through from Naak Nako. They want to desperately contest for this. Yes, Vladi is separated, but he doesn't really care. He's got that ultimate to come through, and that's all he really wants. So KC playing for Dragon. They've got their wave clear set up.
Carzzy's by himself for the time being. Canna with a Mega Gnar bar that is slowly growing. A boomerang to throw out. He's now in the yellow. Okay. Vitality, no, this is about to be a Mega Gnar. An Arctic Assault from Lyncas. A flank. Carzzy still isolated. KC looking for him. Depth charge. Carzzy's dead! Left from the team. Czajek, now the hope is Vitality, are dying, dropping one by one by one. The ants are getting smaller. KC with 5 members. That dragon is theirs.
And under the magnifying glass, it's Vitality that are cracking. It's KC who are holding firm. And just like that now, wait, TP, yeah, he's just going top. They've given it up. It's Soul for KC and a hard-fought fight, but KC just set it up so much better. They find the flank onto Carzzy, and with no flash, he is so vulnerable.
Vladi just bought his time. Naak Nako is waiting outside of the lens. I think he finds himself. Might have been spotted in the end. A Mecha Blast Cone there to launch him in, but he's now definitely spotted. Dredge line as well. Naak Nako, Blast Cone taken. He's in front of 4 members, and Vitality, it's all falling apart. He tries to find Caliste as Naak Nako. It was a noble attempt, but the Gnar slow. Mega Blast Cone again, and Auto so damn close is the call.
He saved the Baron, though.
He might have, yeah.
The fact he got that damage onto Caliste means they don't feel comfortable, and Caliste is the main DPS
Very
alongside
true.
Yike, so it looked funky, but Naak Nako held.
And on that point, Dagda, Cleanse was also taken from Caliste. A big summoner spell for an immobile AD carry. We'll see. Canna's also just teleported in, it seems.
He teleported to that fight, so that's now down as well.
Right.
So it means KC used a lot to try and get into that position. Carzzy's flash nearly back up, so the ability to actually have these fights where you can catch Carzzy, you're starting to slide away once again.
Well, for Carzzy, 4 items now picked up. Lord Doms is there. He's got 4 items for Czajek as well, by the way. Still looking here at the members with advantages in Vitality. And if Naak Nako gets ordered one more time, he's dead. And then that fight doesn't matter anymore. Then the damage doesn't matter anymore. It's crazy how the margins matter, not only in this game, but in League of Legends. We, again, group up. Baron's still there. Dragon, 4 minutes 30 till the Elder. Get that out of your mind. For now, it does feel like everything is hinging on the purple side of this map.
But it's 4 items across the board for the Vitality carries. The scaling is there. You can see the damage that Naak Nako can do if he can get onto Caliste and KC. They start up the objective. Hilly is only starting to move in. They can run this through very quickly.
They really can, and Naak Nako will be on a minion wave. He leap strikes, he gets in range, but at 7k, 6k, it's going down fast. Caliste is going to keep autoing away. A Glacial Fisher, Prison sent on up. Dredge line into the chain of Nest. The hero's entrance is a 5-man! Vladi stuns them up. Canna sends them in, and KC send Vitality packing.
Wait, Czajek
is big onto Caliste. He's getting autoed. He'll die. A triple over to Czajek, but Canna will make short work of that. Yike and his top laner stay up. So Baron sits on 2.
It looks so good at the start for KC, but again, they're just so vulnerable once everything is blown. They don't have a lot of the follow-up. Canna was kept out of that fight for so long thanks to Czajek. So I want you to watch over on this side. Basically, Canna gets caught up by the gravity field by Czajek, which means as the rest of the fight is coming through, it's essentially a 4 versus 5. So the rest of Vitality, while they do get knocked up, the value you get from Canna's ultimate here isn't huge. Czajek gets to play it safe.
Holy.
And as soon as you can get onto Caliste, and Yike can't really play the fight, the DPS is gone. And you can start to play way further forward. Czajek again, like these small little moments having huge impacts.
And again, I see everything from KC. I see 3 members left standing with 1 Viktor, and I think it's all over. But this is the Viktor point of the game. This is why these players play this champ, because the scaling is insane. Chaos Storm as well, every time there's part of a kill or assist, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Like we saw with Caps, it takes over an entire lane. This is an almost max item Viktor as well. As we're talking about, you know, creating space and controlling it, around this Elder in 2 minutes 30, we get to see it again.
But the space is now becoming way more limited. Carzzy, no flash. Czajek, no flash. Caliste, no flash.
Yeah.
These are all massive tools for these immobile carries to keep themselves safe. And we saw what happens when Carzzy falls. Czajek isn't able to just be a one-man army in these fights. So for KC, that is now the new target. Try and finish off Carzzy while he's still vulnerable. Look for that Elder. And the fact that you have this Red Bull Barn power play for another minute at least gives you the opportunity to take more of these turrets, push Vitality into their base, and keep them away from these key objectives.
That pressure being applied thanks to the Baron as well. Vladi going to do the same here, but wave clear, at least a specialty of Czajek here. Yike is coming in, looking to zone off. You notice Carzzy before, every single ricochet is doing a lot of damage here. Look at Yike. Those are a couple of ricochets. 3 hits. Yike almost down to half HP. From 1 quarter, sorry, 3 quarters, if I could do my math properly, but for Vitality, Baron on multiple lanes. It's hurting them right now. Naak Nako's trying to get some priority and trying to push them out by putting pressure on another lane. Bot's going to go to the inner turret, which is now an objective bounty, by the way, as KC have started to crest towards 6k.
They just want to try and keep the waves pushed in for KC, push Vitality into their own base, and they just can't commit to any sort of contest here, but it's easier said than done. You've insane wave clear, especially when the Baron buff is now gone. Between Czajek and Carzzy, those waves melt. So KC trying to set up the vision, trying to keep themselves safe.
I just want to point out what we've seen in every fight. That's a full item Zyra just about now, apart from the control wars, by the way. 5,000 is the lead for Yike. Controlling this game, as you'll see, as the dredge line comes in, and Yike's damage will be seen. Shielders ran, everything in. Carzzy's knocked out, knocked back, sent away, but he's alive for now. He needs to ricochet. He needs to fight. He needs to hit. As Carzzy sends out a boomerang, his auto attacks need to connect, but KC have once again found Hilly. It's 5 versus 4. It's health bars in disarray. It's KC chasing and chasing, but not finding anyone else. Health bar still low. Teleport's only available for Czajek.
Vladi immediately TPs down into the bottom side of the map. He just wants to push in the wave. 7 seconds until Elder Dragon. The cleanse is about to come back up for Carzzy, but so many tools were used.
I think they've got Elder Dagda, I think, unless a miracle still from Lyncas, right?
Lyncas will come in. They need to try and pull it out. Vision is everywhere. Canna playing Bouncer, Vladi in the same boat. But they haven't seen where the Sejuani is yet.
They're trying to get this red buff as quickly as possible to heal up. Lyncas will have a bit more moving power, but Canna is in Mega Gnar now, so they're going to burst it down, but taunt it out against the wall. KC have found their opening. Carzzy stretch lined in though, but will he die? He does not. Elder, no steal. Smite is greater than Chaos Ray as KC walk away with the burning buff for 3.
But KC are bruised, 2 down. Yes, they get the Elder Dragon, but they have to wait for these people to come back up. And the fact that Vitality again are able to push them back, find a little bit more space, means that they're not out of the woodworks yet. KC have a firm lead for the next 2 minutes thanks to this Elder Dragon. But if Vitality can somehow hold...
They've been holding for so long, Dagda. This felt like a done deal earlier in the game. The first 20 minutes felt done. As this is not done, we'll watch again as Canna played Bruiser, as you said.
Yeah, Canna and Vladi basically trying to keep people out of the fight, but Czajek and Carzzy got to reset, so even though Nako looks low, the immediate follow-up is there. You do give your life for a good cause. As Targamas went over the wall to help out. And a good attempt from Czajek, but Yike has been pretty on point with the smites.
Yeah.
I will not give that one over.
Oh my god, Carzzy and Czajek's damage. I mean, to be fair, Yike is quite up there as well. The difference is the fact that we're just exclaiming Carzzy because this Sivir has hit the max items. This Sivir is hitting everyone if a fight goes on long enough.
So the important points, though, from that fight are Canna still got his Baron buff. Because Targamas went over the wall, bought time for Canna to hop out.
True.
He can be a threat on his side. What's happened here, though? We're
in the fog of war. Lyncas is face checking. Remember, there's Elder still on 3. By the way, Carzzy now has BT. BT, more survivability, more shielding, more healing.
all summoners back up as well on the side of Vitality, so a lot less vulnerable. And Canna, to start that fight off, actually missed the wallop on towards Carzzy thanks to the movement speed as well from the ultimate. So even when you get onto him, it's not that easy. Now KC immediately going to start this up. This is what they're trading. That Elder Dragon buff is about to wear off.
Yeah.
So they use it for the Baron Vitality will give. Look, how much can they get? You can see the push on bottom side from Naak Nako.
Enhanced Baron recall. Naak Nako, why did we go golden here? I mean,
That
it's
was a
only
misclick.
Zonya's. Yeah, it must have been. Turret goes down, objective bounty, but KC have the Baron push. And maybe they thought on the side of Vitality, top's going anyway. Let's let the inhib go. We've got a Sivir. Carzzy's going to step up, look for the play. As you said, Elder's down at 15.
They're still trying to hold on. Vitality are trying to wait this one out, but KC, they're done with waiting. They want to end this right
They
here.
want to try with the last remnants of the Elder. They push in. Chains of Corruption set on up, but playing on the outskirts, Vitality are using that time. 2, 1, and now it's down. No Elder. Naak Nako will not be dead for an execution today as Vitality chase up. Canna doesn't have a Mega Gnar bar to play with. KC have to leave and make the game go a little bit longer.
Hilly's still chasing though. You can see they're waiting for the TPs. If they can delay the backs, you can potentially TP to that bot wave and look for the tower. But instead, it's in sync. KC recall.
Nice. Okay.
And the game will hold for that little bit longer. 2 minutes still left on this Red Bull Baron power play. You can maybe look for one more inhibitor. But this is so close. Like,
It really is.
we're getting to 6-item Viktor, 6-item Sivir, and there's not much more growth that you can have in this game.
I mean, even now, Yike has just got rid of control wards and he's building his Zonyas, so that's how far he is at 6,000 gold. If KC don't win this game, Yike will have lost with a 6,000 gold lead in jungle. 314 to 184 CS, more than the Flame Horizon.
But that's the thing, gold doesn't matter anymore. It
really
all comes
doesn't,
down to execution. It all comes down to vision. And if you can find those moments, but again, Vitality are no pushovers. It's playing for bot lane. Canna needs to be careful. They don't end up going overextending onto him. Canna has a pretty sizable health bar now.
Yeah.
Thanks to also having the hull breakers. He's going to be a bit more of a threat onto a single turret if he can get access to it. As now KC group on the bot side.
Naak Nako is pushing out that super minion wave, adding no pressure to the base of Vitality. He's got a stride breaker, his wave clear is big. So once he deals with that wave, he might look for a TP in as Vitality now defend against the Baroned up bot wave at 44 minutes in that KC are trying to open up yet another angle. They do it mid as well. Teleport going to be burned. Czajek zones off, but the turret is dead. Thank you again to Hull Breaker as KC have another avenue of attack. 2 members sit mid, 2 sit bot. Yike in between. Vitality under fire from multiple fronts again.
KC been doing a good job of clearing that vision behind them, but Lyncas goes.
They pick a side, but it misses. Lyncas misses. As the quickness is set up, but it's right into the tangling arms of Yike. Hilly jumps in into the back line, but it's all for naught. Naak Nako sent up, sent packing, sent away. Canna over. KC are in the base again. They'll find a knock-up. He'll find a flash, but who is finding what here? Hilly not dead. One more auto. Carzzy steps up, but a Mega Gnar flushed away. Carzzy! The mechanical skill shown again. As Caliste into the base. Naak Nako spins, wins a little bit, and a grin. Caliste running away. He's got a GA, but Targamas does not. Carzzy with that flash, I think saved the game, Dagda. As Caliste with the Mega Blast Cone. Naak Nako willing to chase. Vitality are not done.
They still want to keep chasing, but I don't think they can. Carzzy is just better every time Canna has gone up against him.
Oh,
he's been caught, but Naak Nako,
He's
they
burning,
one more
he's
auto.
burning, he's not dead.
The shields from Hylissang are huge. But Canna again, we saw it on the play in mid lane. Tries to go with the stun, tries to go with the wallop, misses. The play, they jump on again mid, he misses. And Carzzy predicts him perfectly, waits for the shield,
Oh my
and just
God.
barely gets the flash, sets up for the play, and that gives the confidence to Vitality to start to chase onto Caliste because KC are so spread out. Caliste barely able to push himself back out here and make himself safe, but again, the fact that you have this Chemtech Dragon is kind of doing work for KC in these sorts of scenarios.
Feels like Vitality have now found new life, and it feels like Vitality have found a new angle. Smite to get rid of the shield. Yike is stunned up. In goes the Sejuani. The hero's entrance will find his mark as well. Yike has done the same job, though. Yike is big as Carzzy's dead. Caliste is taking him out. The Viktor, though, the Chaos Storm won't expand with the GA. The Vitality are all dead, Dagda.
KC immediately go bot. Canna wants to look for the end. They just need to stop Czajek, and Targamas is doing that.
The AoE was enough. It all came together, and Yike's lead felt like it made the difference. Canna teleports in, and as long as Vitality held out as much as we wanted in Game 3, Karmine Corp will still find their way to the Nexus. A delayed back in the middle of your screen, or at least the middle of the map. And Karmine Corp had to really work for this 2-0 in playoffs.
There's a grin on Yike's face, but they know how hard that one was fought for. In the last moments, Vitality go all out to try and kill Yike, but they just didn't quite have enough. What a series, though. What a game.
What a game. 46, 47 minutes or something in the end, and yeah, Yike's ultis were brilliant. Those circles, Dagda, those circles were the bane of Vitality's existence in the end again.
I mean, shout out to Carzzy, though. Exceptional performance. Shout out to Czajek as well. Really making KC work for it, but at the end of the day, KC, that early lead just ended up being too much for Vitality to contain.
A great playmaking, a good end of the series. Karmine Corp at 2-0. Blown us away. But what an end it was as well. Team fight victory. Your player of the series, who is it voted now at LEC on X? Yike, Vladi, or Targamas? I mean, Yike is fitting so well in with his team, and I don't know, that was just such a long series. Go for your life. That was an insane game. Like, you know, you just don't expect it. You think, well, what's the caliber of these teams? Yeah, pretty decent. But
that was a banger. I'm exhausted.
Holy crap, that was intense. That was great. If the rest of the playoffs are going to be like that, well, I hope you drop your Twitch Prime. No ads for you.
Well, to be fair, like, I'm glad now that there is the lower bracket, because Vitality aren't done, right? And if they can perform like that, they deserve to be at the top, right? Look, the early lane swaps went wrong. That's fixable stuff, but the team fights were insane. The individual performance were there, so we still get to see Vitality bounce back.
Against BDS, right?
Exactly, and then we get to see KC go up against Movistar Koi.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that is
Spain versus France again. It's so scripted. Fnatic versus G2. Koi versus Karmine Corp to get into the upper bracket finals. I mean, I don't know if it's Jackspectra's dad writing the script again, or if it's Vedius or his friend Flexius
or his weird cousin. His
cousin doing it. Like, we're definitely scripting this. We're just not going to tell you how we do it. No, that would give away all the fun. I mean, we're hoping players continue to bang them. Fearless has introduced a lot to us. And just imagine when we get to the BO5s. I mean, I'm looking here. The BO5s start in round 3, round 4 onward, depending on what up or down of the bracket you're on.
Yeah, but it's still, I mean, like, again, we're going to have BDS versus Vitality. If I'm BDS, I'm now very scared of this Vitality lineup because they looked insane. And I think for Movistar Koi, you can still see KC have some issues, but in the grand scheme of things, they're still a force to be reckoned with.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it from us after a very intense game. I see Odo standing on stage with Yike for the Marriott Bonvoy post-game check-in. Let's have a look.
Thank you, Jake. And Yike, what was that game? It was incredible. It felt like you had it in the bag in the early game, but then Sivir and Viktor reached arcane levels of OP. What were kind of some of the adaptations that you're making in that game to maneuver it? Because it felt really hard for you guys to close out the game.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that we would have a strong early game. I'm playing Zyra versus Sejuani, and I know I can get like a lot of like objectives and just get early ahead. But yeah, when they picked Viktor Sivir, I know they're gonna try to scale. They wanna go late game, and yeah, we were struggling a bit, but then we found some angles, so that was nice.
Yeah, it was crazy. Canna was finding great angles, Targa and Vladi as well. But let's bring it back to Fearless a little bit. We only had 2 O's right now in the LEC, so it was a little bit boring. We didn't get to see a lot, but I have been hearing that Casey is cooking behind the scenes. If you bring up the tweet between Yike and Vladi over here, I want you to give me a little bit of a preview of what's happening in K-Corp scrims and what can we see maybe going, in the 3rd game of the Fearless or the 5th game, because that doesn't look, very...
Yeah,
very confident.
There's something with Vladi in scrims. I don't know what's going on with him, but he wants to meme it and post it on Twitter as well that he's just inting in scrims. I don't know why he think it's funny.
So 34 deaths, that's a lot.
Yeah, so then I had to flame him, of course, and he also I don't know why he pays to be verified.
It's fine. At least he's letting out in scrims because I think he had a great series today. But talking back about you now a little bit, you have been on G2 every playoffs you were walking in. albeit it was your rookie years there in the LEC. You're coming very confident and very dominant. But right now you're transitioning into this sort of veteran phase for K-Corp. How does that experience help you with things that you are bringing in for the squad, especially now into playoffs?
Yeah, for sure. It's very unusual to me to be more of the experienced one, the veteran one. But I kind of like it, you know. I feel like more of a, like kind of being like a leader, I think, together with Targa, and I really like that. And I feel like I can teach them a lot, like Vladi and Caliste for sure. And I really like the way we're doing it right now as a team. So I think we're gonna do very good, you know. We're playing good already, and I think we're gonna show better performances than this game too.
Yeah, just stop that guy from going 34 deaths and yeah, keep the kids in check. But now looking at tomorrow, K-Corp versus MKOI. It's going to be extremely hype, you know, if two very passionate fan bases with K-Corp and MKOI, you know, the rivalry. Give me a little bit of a preview. How do you think it's going to be going? Obviously, K-Corp win, but give me a little bit more spice.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be a 2-0, but I think it's going to be some banger matches, some fun matches. I hope Koi is going to cook a lot. I think they played Karma today, top lane, and they can probably cook a lot more. So I hope we can cook a little bit more as well, because I don't think we cooked too much, I think, from all the champs. But yeah, it's going to be fun games. I hope we're going to stomp them, but I mean, I think we're going to stomp them.
Let's give them 3 games for the fans.
Yeah, maybe.
Over to the boys in the PGL. I'm really excited to see what Drakos has with Caliste to say about this series and about tomorrow. Take it away.
Thank you.